Oh no, that's a lolly, isn't it? So that's the kind of game this is gonna be, huh? Back in the day, Konami used to not just make games, but a lot of them. 2008 in particular was a big year with the release of Metal Gear Solid 4, 2 Castlevanias, and 4 new Silent Hill games. The barrage resulted in some less traditional games. One of those was Castlevania Judgment. The developmental idea behind it seemed to be, what if Castlevania? But more anime, and a fighting game. And that's exactly what it is. The anime bit shouldn't be too surprising since the art is done by Takeshi Obata of Death Note fame. Though oddly enough it's even more anime than his normal work. He went from Gothic Lolita to Gothic Lolita, which just sounds like a Pokemon. It made more sense when I wrote it down. I'm sorry. Anyways, all the anime are here. Just look at this motley crew. First off, you got your laid-back jokester, and while it may seem obvious who this is to the hardcore Castlevania fans, I'll illuminate those who do not see the obvious resemblance. It's Grant Dynasty. You know, that pirate bandit guy you play as for a bit in Castlevania 3. I don't know why he's a mummy man now, but he is. Then you got Shanoa, who's a nun for some reason. She's from more of Ecclesia, which released around the same time as this game, and as such had some cross-promotional material. Like you could unlock her instantly in this game if you connected your DS with Order of Ecclesia to your Wii. It doesn't look like I have it anymore though. You know what? I remember liking the game and I could go for a good Castlevania game right now, so let's take a little peeky poo on Amazon and see if they have it to buy it. Well, the good news is they do have it. The bad news is it costs $150. Which is, a little outside my price range. A little bit more than I'm willing to pay for this game. So, Konami, please, port your games so that I can give you money.
I will buy
Castlevania.
with money.
Next up, you got Eric, who's actually got a pretty good adaptation. He has a big spear also, which I'm a big fan of. Though they do lean a little too hard onto him being a little boy.
Underestimated me. Did you think me a child? Fight me as you would a grown man. Think just because you're older, you're better than me?
Then there's Sypha, who's now got a whole holy witch thing to her. I really like this new design. It's a nice departure from her just wearing like robes in the past. Though she does have a kind of tsundere thing going on that I'm not super crazy about. Of course you got Trevor, and yeah, that's definitely Trevor. But with an eye patch this time, which is a net positive to any character, let's be honest. Then we have Maria. I know I am ragging on anime a lot. Don't get me wrong, I like me some anime. I'm a trash weeb. I like me some Triple X Hunter, some Ghost in the Half Shell, Lupus. I even read all the doujins. But Maria, ugh. She's got panty shots as part of her moveset, and her entire storyline in this game is about how she wants bigger boobs. Because she's got small boobs, and then she sees the other characters. She gets jealous about their big boobs, which results in fights.
Hey, are you a vampire hunter?
I am. If you're here, you must be one as well.
Uh-huh. They're huge.
Will you stop? These things only get in the way.
How can you say that? Those are a sacred gift!
Little girl, are you lost?
What? I'm no little girl! That's it, let's go!
Why? We've no cause to fight.
Maybe you don't, but I sure do! Oh my god! Vampire!
Why, hello, sweetie pie. You'll make a nice little appetizer.
Even the vampires are bigger than mine!
What are you babbling about?
No way am I losing to you! Just because you're hot doesn't mean you can be rude.
Next up, we've got Simon. And I know, they got the artist, who's known for Death Note, probably because they want something that is at least adjacent to Death Note. But Simon looks like an alternate universe version of Light, where he gets all of his clothing exclusively from Hot Topic, and he's an illiterate meathead who, when he found the Death Note, he kind of just threw it away because it didn't have any pictures. Also, he's kind of a neckbeard.
Pardon, milady.
That's it for the humans though. Now, let's move on to the monster side, which consists of Alucard, who has a pretty standard depiction, Cornell, who's a werewolf. I'll be honest, I didn't know who this character was and had to look them up. Apparently there was a second Nintendo 64 Castlevania game called Legacy of Darkness, and it started this character. Next up is Carmilla, who, let's be honest, that's just Ivy, and that's fine. Gollum, who's kind of just a generic monster. It's kind of weird that they didn't just call him Frankenstein, considering that's closer to what he is, but whatever. Death, who's a sexy little skeleton. Dracula, who's really boring to play as. And Aeon, who's an original character created just for this game, and kind of the main face of it. As an overall package, it's fine. The story mode is an over-glorified arcade mode, but there's a decent story reason with time travel for the repetition. In addition, you have a vanilla arcade mode, challenges, training mode, and an online mode. Unsurprisingly, I couldn't find a match, so I guess I just had to play by myself. To my pleasant surprise, the game is actually a decent enough C-tier fighter, assuming you use a normal controller, that is. It actually does some things very well. For one, variety. Outside of some understandable overlap between Trevor and Simon, the characters are all extremely distinct in how they play, and have a decent amount of moves. There's also a decent amount of items. Unlike something like, say, Smash Bros, you can actually refill them in match by collecting hearts and even upgrade them. In addition, they all have a secondary move that's stronger and consumes more hearts. The levels have a decent amount of variety as well. I particularly like the Clock Tower one as it reminds me of the Clock Tower fight from Lupin. This is ultimately a double-edged sword though. The amount of variety makes the game extremely hard to get used to. What I mean by this is you have your standard stuff, your neutrals, your guards, your ultimates, etc. Fairly standard stuff. Then things get weird. In most fighting games, if an enemy is guarding, you can do a grab to punish them. Instead, you hold guard and do a neutral attack, and you'll do a guard breaker. Sounds reasonable, it just kinda sounds like a different way of doing it, right? Well, sometimes a character's guard breaker is a grab, but for others, their grab won't work on a guarding enemy. This could be okay if the guard breaker input was the only way to break a guard, but it's not. There's a hidden stamina system, so if you take enough hits, your guard will be broken, and not only that, you'll lose a significant amount of your ultimate bar. And this is where the big issue comes up. There's a lack of uniformity to the whole thing. You kind of just have to guess and just see what happens, and it's really frustrating for the first few hours of playing it. This applies to other areas as well. The items vary in their effectiveness, may be a little too much considering they range from throwing a small dagger that doesn't do much damage to stopping time. I respect their commitment to making it unique. It's absolutely a bold decision to only give one character a parry, and while it is rewarding once you understand everything in a kind of mastery sort of way, it takes way too long to get comfortable playing it. You kind of just have to experiment a lot, like too much to understand just basic mechanics. It's a really weird game, and I appreciate it for what it's trying to do, regardless of the end results. It's not a good game though. But hey, if you enjoy the kind of Mario Party rage between friends, you can get some entertainment from this. At least for a little bit. With that said, I'll leave you with the surprisingly pretty decent music done by Yasushi Asada, who's better known for his Castlevania Bloodlines work and of course, Smash Ultimate.